Hi there, folks. What is your value? I was asked this question many years ago. It was at a time when I used to base my value as a person in terms of materialistic things. In other words, my value was based on the money in the bank, the career, the power, and the more I had of that, the more I felt of value to myself. And yeah, when that started to leave through the back door, I was kind of grasping at straws, trying to identify, who am I? What is my value all of a sudden? And when he asked me this question, Colin, what is your value? Are you prepared to become the person who is ready for the world you choose to live in? Well, that was a powerful question for me. And when I reflected on it, I started to realize it's about becoming the person, not necessarily what you have, but what you become. And I looked at this, and that's when I started to really focus on a values-based existence. So why is it so important to have a values-based life, a values-based existence? Well, they do provide us, as we work with our values, we come up with our own code of ethics that we write for ourselves. These become our ethical rudder. They can guide us through the choppy seas, keep us on course wherever we want to be, wherever we want to grow to. And through this values-based existence, we also become very self-aware. I know for myself, if I steer off away from my values, there's something inside me that doesn't feel comfortable. In fact, I notice it after the fact. I reflect and my body feels uneasy, it feels irritated, and I go, oh wow, I've steered off my value system. So what it does is it guides me back there. It helps me with my awareness to make the changes to my behavior and to align myself more with the values that I've created for myself. It also helps us prioritize choices. Sometimes we may be in a dilemma, and this could be because there are two values within us that are conflicting. I will share my own personal story on this one. I have two conflicting values. The one is freedom and the other one is security, but I prioritize freedom over security. So when I make a choice, I ask myself, does this help me become more free? And in so doing, I'm ready to accept the consequences because it may go against certain aspects of security. Living a values-based life also adds credibility to one as a leader. Credibility, you become also more influential with those around you. And there are leaders in many capacities, leaders of countries, leaders of companies, leaders within companies, and leaders within families. Parents, we are all leaders for our children. So living our values, we are going to influence those around us with our set of values. And maybe what we can do is make a big difference for those around us in a positive way. And I feel this is a vital part of leadership, is to live according to a healthy code of ethics. And as you live by your values, there's something else that happens. You lead a more fulfilling life. There's a difference between fulfillment and happiness. For me, happiness, especially when the ego is in charge, trying to attain happiness, it's that instant gratification. Let's go for it. Let's spend money. Let's get into debt. Get it now. Great. I feel wonderful. 3 days later, buyer's remorse. And this attainment of happiness through the ego, what happens is when you get it, you've got it now. Now you want more and you want more. And what happens is it's almost happiness lies beyond the cognitive horizon. So through a values-based system, what happens is as you start living by your values, you will start to feel a greater sense of fulfillment. And this fulfillment isn't instant gratification. It may take time to develop your values, understand what your values are, and start adjusting your behaviors towards your values. But as you do, you feel this great sense of fulfillment which lingers way longer than just that moment of happiness. People ask me, but how do I know what my values are? Well, this is the big clue. It is around fulfillment. If you simply reflect over your life and ask yourself, when was it that I got the greatest amount of fulfillment? And what was I doing at the time? What was it doing for my energy? So for example, you could be on a road trip you don't know where you're heading, you've just got on the road, you're going on a 2-week holiday to who knows where. You might feel this great joy, this sense of excitement, this fulfillment. And it might be your value for freedom that is coming through, that you are fulfilling. Or it might be where you send food to the animal shelter, or you give somebody a Coke on the street because it's a hot day and they've been sweeping the streets all day, and you walk away with a sense of fulfillment. Well, maybe that's your value of compassion that's coming through, and you're fulfilling that value of compassion. It might be when you're with your family and you just feel this great sense of fulfillment when they're around you. Well, that might be your value of love. There are many values out there, and it's not to say that you choose anybody else's values. There are some great sites on the web where you can go and they will guide you. They'll give you a whole list of values to work with. But I feel the starting point is for you to ask these questions. Where was I last fulfilled? And identify those situations, and then ask yourselves about why. Why did I feel that fulfillment? Why? And as you go into the depth, you might get a few answers, and you might have to reflect on it, come back to it a few days later. It might not be a quick process. But as you do, come up with 3 or 4 values. And I find having a set of behaviors behind those values to demonstrate those values gives me that code of ethics I was talking about earlier on. And yes, these are some wonderful ideas to hopefully enrich one's life, to grow one's life, to add value to one's life. And yeah, folks, those are just some ideas. So until we chat again, take care and stay aware.